Former U.S. President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton have agreed to testify before Congress as part of a renewed investigation into disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein, just days before the House of Representatives was expected to vote on holding them in contempt of Congress. The decision follows months of escalating tension between the Clintons' legal team and Republican lawmakers who accused the couple of defying lawful subpoenas. The House Oversight Committee, led by Republicans, has been investigating Epstein's extensive network of political, financial, and social connections, as well as the federal government's handling of his criminal cases. Lawmakers say the probe aims to uncover whether influential figures received preferential treatment or whether institutional failures allowed Epstein to avoid accountability for years. Epstein, who was convicted in 2008 on prostitution-related charges involving minors, was arrested again in 2019 on federal sex trafficking charges. He died in jail later that year while waiting trial, an event that fueled public outrage and conspiracy theories. Since then, pressure has mounted on lawmakers to examine not only Epstein's associates, but also the decisions made by prosecutors and government agencies that allowed him to maintain access to wealth and power. As part of that investigation, the Oversight Committee issued subpoenas last year demanding sworn testimony from both Bill and Hillary Clinton. Lawmakers sought to question them about their past interactions with Epstein, any knowledge they may have had about his activities, and whether their positions of power influenced government decisions related to his cases. For months, the Clintons resisted appearing in person. Their attorneys argued that the subpoenas were overly broad, politically motivated, and designed to generate headlines rather than uncover facts. The former president and former Secretary of State offered alternative forms of cooperation, including written responses and limited transcribed interviews. But committee leaders rejected those proposals. Republican lawmakers insisted that only in-person testimony under oath would satisfy the requirements of the investigation. They argued that allowing high-profile figures to dictate the terms of compliance would weaken Congress's oversight authority and set a dangerous precedent. As negotiations stalled, the Oversight Committee voted to advance contempt of Congress resolutions against both Clintons. Such a move is rare, particularly against figures of their stature, and carry the potential for serious legal consequences. If approved by the full House and pursued by the Justice Department, contempt charges could result in fines or even jail time. The looming contempt vote dramatically raised the stakes. With the possibility of formal legal action approaching, the Clintons reversed course and informed the committee that they were prepared to testify. Their legal team requested that contempt proceedings be paused while arrangements for testimony were finalized. Despite the announcement, committee leaders made clear that the agreement was not yet complete. They emphasized that no formal dates or conditions had been agreed upon and warned that contempt proceedings could still move forward if negotiations broke down again. Lawmakers stressed that testimony must be conducted under oath and according to committee's rules, not conditions set by the witnesses. In a public response, representatives of the Clintons said the couple had already provided information under oath and accused lawmakers of ignoring facts in favor of political theater. They maintained that the former president and former Secretary of State had nothing to hide and were willing to testify to ensure equal standard applied to everyone, regardless of status or party affiliation. The situation has sparked intense debate in Washington. Supporters of the investigation argue that no individual, including a former president, should be above congressional oversight. They say the Epstein case exposed deep failures within the justice system and that public trust depends on full transparency from those connected to him. Critics, however, accuse Republicans of weaponizing the Epstein investigation to target political opponents. Democrats have argued that the focus on the Clintons is selective and that other powerful figures connected to Epstein have not faced the same level of scrutiny. They warn that turning congressional oversight into a partisan spectacle risks undermining its legitimacy. The potential testimony of Bill and Hillary Clinton would be historically significant. Former presidents are rarely compelled to testify before Congress, and instances of criminal contempt threats against them are virtually unprecedented. The outcome of the standoff could reshape expectations around congressional authority and executive accountability. Beyond the political implications, the Epstein investigation continues to resonate with the public because of what it represents: a reckoning with elite privilege and institutional failure. Survivors of Epstein's abuse have long argued that powerful connections shielded him from justice. And many see the congressional probe as an opportunity to expose how influence operates behind closed doors. As preparations for testimony move forward, lawmakers are expected to press the Clintons on the nature of their contact with Epstein, the timing of those interactions, and whether any red flags were ever raised. Committee members may also examine broader questions about how prominent individuals navigate relationships with controversial figures and what responsibilities come with power. Whether the House proceeds with contempt votes remains uncertain and will likely depend on how quickly and fully the Clintons comply. The situation remains fluid, with both sides signaling a willingness to continue negotiations while preparing for possible escalation. In the coming weeks, the testimony could become a defining moment in the Epstein investigation, shedding new light on one of the most disturbing scandals in modern American history. For Congress, it represents a test of oversight authority. For the Clintons, it is another chapter in a long and often polarizing public life. For the public, it is a closely watched effort to determine whether accountability truly applies to everyone